Hello, beautiful friends. How's everybody doing out there in the wide, wide world? I'm doing well in the forest here. I thought I would take some time today to check in and share some stuff, some contemplations that I've been having, as well as to do a reading. So I'm going to open up with the reading because that's the easiest way for me to kind of open up the channel and share for there. I wanted to check in with the inner children today, and the way that came through is you, me, we. So versus, masculine, feminine, it's just, whatever perspective you want to take from this, but it's connecting to the sacred trinity. All right, so we're starting off with the Five of Hearts. Okay, so to me that this indicates that from the inner child perspective, there's a lot of tending to those deeper parts within, in addition to like really kind of vibing with the most vulnerable, sensitive parts of ourselves. So where is that treasured heart of yours? Where does it need to be nourished, held, loved, seen, celebrated? Where does it need to be brought into the light, into a form of manifestation? What I really see with this mermaid is, this is an emotional it's an emotional dream. It's a longing. It's a sensitivity. But sitting on the turtle is something that, and a sea turtle, nevertheless, is something that really wants to be grounded and honored, like while it's something that you flow with. Now, the next card would be the Six of Crystals. Okay, and the Six of Crystals, what I'm seeing with it is it's kind of this like next step. It's like, how do you take the dream and start to move with it? Now, that's a lot of what we're seeing with, I believe Neptune went into retrograde, and with that thing, it's how do we bring our dreams into reality? How do we reach for that? And I love that in both, there's such a mirror component of these cards of like, there's the solo internal awareness of, almost like being on an island, but community isn't far. But this is an action of working together and like knowing where your team is. Funnily enough, for myself, I'm in the process of moving to an island, but currently I live on a mountain. And even the way that I'm holding these cards, it's like, how do these like different landscapes hold and feed each other? What is it that we're working with as we emotionally, mentally, intellectually, spiritually, physically process a process of movement, of coming into community? How do we bring the essence of the cold into the tropical? How do we bring the tropical into the cold? And this feels like there's so much fruitfulness of the inner world met with the outer world. And I think that that's really what's going on. It's like we are in the process of finding these divine bridges. Now, I'm super excited to see what this next card is, which is the Tower, okay? Which is really funny because as I was drawing these cards, I just kept hearing, as above, so below, as above, so below. So if we're working with this tower energy, it's just like it is this bridge, and we're also seeing a triad happening here. We have the feminine, the masculine, and the other. We have the above, the below, and the in-between. We also have the landscape of both the mountains and the water simultaneously in this card. So to me, there really is this process that's going on that is asking us to, traditionally in the Tower card, it's about throwing yourself off of something consciously, whereas like the Death card, it's like it's an inevitable process of change that's just happening. Whereas the Tower card, it's like you get some time to kind of to get ahead of the story, to consciously throw yourself off into an experience. Now you have to take the leap. That is actively what's happening. It's not a choice anymore. There's growth that needs to happen. There is an activation. I've also been having a lot of like introspection around my hair. I've been having like really bad like dandruff, like in my eyebrows and at the top of my scalp. And so I've been playing with my hair a lot and putting a bunch of like tea tree oil in it, and like playing with this different process. And to me, that is like, whenever there's an element of hair come up, it relates a lot to the ego. Many years ago, I was traveling in India for an extended period of time. And it had been a life goal of mine for a while to shave my head entirely. And I did it while I was in India. It was a purification that I needed to release all that I was hanging on to and have a spiritual rebirth in that thing. And I'm not saying that if you're watching this video, you need to go shave your head right now. But I think that there is this contemplation of where is the ego getting in our way of, taking the leaps that we need to take. When do we need to just like let loose and cut free, especially in this thing. It's like the witch in this story kind of represents the ways that our consciousness holds us back, that it's our fear, it's that control. It's like, if I keep everything confined and organized into this one specific place, then it'll be the best way, to stay protected from the world. But it's like, we actually want to explore the world. We want to go out into this landscape. We want to, explore this garden. We want to plant seeds and have them come into fruition. There's other parts of the story, specifically of Rapunzel, that want to come through right now. So give me just a second to kind of grasp what it is, the connection that I want to make here. So in Into the Woods, which is a musical by Stephen Sondheim that involves all of the story characters kind of coming together, the witch sings to Rapunzel, "Don't you know what's out there in the world? Someone has to shield you from the world. Only I who love you like you were." So it's like, it is this, it's a stop in this process, that the witch, or the mothering, like the over mothering component, creates, where, there's an invitation to explore more, to go out. And, this staying in a tower forever doesn't serve one individually. And I think that could even toss back to this, like walking alone, staying alone on a mountain type top doesn't always serve the collective whole, and our hearts, like this, there's an element of frozen energy here, whereas like our hearts bloom within different environments. And I know that there's a lot of contemplation around, for our souls to best flourish, we have to be in locations in which we feel safe to explore, right? It's not safe as in comfortable, safe to explore, safe to be ourselves, to be embraced by the world at large. And this is a really powerful component to be working with as we navigate our soul's landscape within the human and physical realm. And, I talk a lot about, the fairy tales. That's the lens in which I understand and can, bridge the metaphors. You have to find what works for you, whether that's religion or astrology or science or human design, because ultimately it's all more or less the same. It's ways that our consciousness is working to deliberately understand our experience as humans on Earth. And, there's something too of like honoring our roots. In the original tale, Rapunzel is like a type of cabbage or lettuce or something, and that's what she's named after, because her biological parents had a garden that like they stole from the witch, basically, and it was like, all right, well, I'm gonna take your child and put a curse on your family or whatever. But she named her Rapunzel after like what was the fine green lettuce, and that would represent the heart energy, but like without its ability to share into the world, which I think would take it to this place. So as we're making these connections within this process, what we're really doing is we're assessing, how the abundance of our heart energy can flourish out into the world. And that might have been a big leap to like, I'm just visualizing like a cabbage or like a chunk of lettuce that's just wilting in a garden because it's not like it's not being picked, it's not being shared, which is the same concept of, taking Rapunzel and putting her up in a tower. It's putting the thing in a place where it might grow, but it won't thrive, because its purpose isn't being enacted into the world. And I think that, there is this dynamic with the ego. It's like, do we even really have purpose? What is the da-da-da-da? And the thing about it is, absolutely, everything has a purpose. Like, the trees just are, but they're still, like, they're generating oxygen. They're processing the CO2. The birds are, they're creating song. Is that their purpose? I don't know. Do we want to identify as purpose, or just like what we're here to do? But what's the difference? So I guess the reason I'm sharing all of this is not the message I thought that I was going to bring through when I popped on. Is that, we want to look at this process going on within ourselves. What is it that you are nourishing within? How is it that you want to share that in the world? What leaps do you need to take to get there? And what environments support that thriving? All right. I think I'm going to draw a couple more cards just to like ground that more into physicality. So I'm going to draw 3 more cards from the Light Seers. Great. So we start off with the Queen of Wands. Then we move to the Page of Cups. And lastly, the Knight of Cups. Okay. So what I'm really seeing within this process, and it relates to a lot of what's, so if the message is this triangle of you, me, we, you can apply this to masculine, feminine, shared energy, all of that. But how it wanted to come through is you, me, we. Okay, so if we're starting with the Queen of Wands, which we'd also be starting with this card. So how do these compare? All right, if this is the childlike embodiment, this is the adult version of it. So as we embody our Queen of Wands energy, it's really being clear on what it is that we want to cultivate in the world, and really like starting to place the action. And I see her, it's just like she's got her wand and she's like directly like putting the intention from one side to the other. And what we see is like her receptive side, the feminine, cultivating the vision and then bringing it down into the masculine, so it's just like have the thought, poosh, and that is such a juicy energy to that we move with. Now, what happens next is this Page of Cups energy. We have to be in touch, with our higher selves. That would be the same thing. This is, this 5 of Cups and this 5 of Wands energy are all about cultivating that inner magic and that inner awareness so that it can be manifested, so that it can be explored. This treasure isn't buried. It's on shore. It's active. It's open, and it's what do I do with this magic? Now, as we work with this 6 of Pentacles, or the 6 of Crystals energy, with the Page of Cups, it's like, okay, like, what is this connection between the physical self and the higher self, and how is it that we want to embody these connections? And I love that there's a fusion here. It's like, it's an uprooting in a way that is conscious and deliberate. It's not something that just happens. It's really an exploration of how is it that get engaged. And you can see that this is engaged by a heart connection. That's what I love so much about this card, is we see it's not just about the dreaminess of when pigs fly. It's like, okay, well, if I have the pig, how do I utilize its magic within the process? Very, very interesting. I guess that's a pin mark on my card, which is like fascinating to me, because I'm like, how did that get there? But B, it's like, it feels to me like a little magical wand. Anyway, I've cleaned it off the card now. It's no longer magic. We have integrated the magic. Anyway, okay, so lastly, we have this Knight of Cups, all right? Now, what I see in that, comparing these two cards of the inner, it is, and it even comes through on this thing. It's like the initiation of love, and the longing of love is partly what spurs the momentum. All right. So as we work with this Knight of, it's a handsome man on a white horse, a handsome man with a white horse. Like, these are both happening in both of these images. So to me, this is an indication of the, like, that that own process of awareness that one has with oneself, met with the Knight of Cups energy, with like this initiation of love coming forward. And the Knight is more evolved than the Cups. So if this is representative of the masculine, or of the you, if this is you, me, we, it is that external energy starting to come in, and how we allow and accept it to create initiation and leap into our life. I'm going to draw one more card because I want to know where this triad is kind of taking us all as we deepen into this process, because this is a profound time of growth and change. And, we can lean on these metaphors, we can lean on the pictures of the cards to help take us to where it is that we're going. All right, so where is it that we're going? Where does this process ultimately take us? And then I'm going to ask one more question with another deck. What is the overall medicine within this process? Okay, we got 2. All right. Oh, we got 2 on both ends. Fascinating. Okay. So what we're working with is, where's this process taking us? 9 of arrows. Okay. Now I love that this is the blinded, this is 9 of swords. This is the blinded arrowist, archerist, who is like shooting with precision. All right. So this is, to me, this directive energy that's moving forward. It is saying, I know now where we're going, and it's time to go after it. Okay. Now this is the embodiment of the whole reading. So I feel like whether it's you, me, we, or him, her, us, whatever, it is just like this directness of precision. Now we might not be able to see the whole picture, and that's so often the case when we leap off the tower. We know that something will catch us. We know that there will be a period of falling, but we don't always know where we're going to land. All right. And I feel like that's the component of blindness that's going on. It's like, I know that this process is intentional, but there's only so far of the intention that I can reach and extend out at this time. All right. Now what comes forward is this process of judgment, of discernment. All right. And what I really feel with this, it's funny for me, is I'm moving from my cabin to like an island, right? I'm moving from the mountaintop, to the island. So to me, this is representative of my own journey, which I just share again as an added metaphor for anybody, in their own process. But it's like ultimately what we're connecting with is the peace, the prayer, the abundance that the buffalo brings, with the nourishment that home has provided through understanding and allowing our own consciousness to allow us to step forward with precision. These cards fell out together. This card blindfolded. This one wide open in consciousness. So it's like within this process, we are gaining access to much greater knowledge. Now, the overall message, what we're gaining from this process is interesting. So we have mandrake and sensuality, and we have blue lotus, intuition. Okay, and so what I really feel with these cards is, to me, what I hear with this is like the getting rooted is what's allowing the expansion. I talked about Rapunzel being the lettuce. It's like, in order for things to grow in their environments, it's like that action of sacred intention, and sensuality comes from the idea of that we are creating things consciously. All right. We're not, especially for the women, it's like we use our womb energy. It doesn't have to be just for creating babies. We're creating worlds if we're doing it with correct intention. That is the power that we are able to seed. Now, in this card of intuition, we have day, we have night, we have the cup flowing over, it's being filled. We've got all of this blue lotus, so the muddied water, which almost feel like these are the roots way down deep that are coming up, right? From the muddy waters, from the leap, from the unknown, bursts this incredible thing. I'm seeing a lot of components of doubles in this card too. We've got the birds coming into union, the night and the day. So it's like, to me, it's like you follow that intuition, you listen to the duality, the polarity, and you create this sense of harmony between the two as you listen. And there's so much of that mirroring that's been coming forward in all of the readings. We feel this as above, so below, eternal spectrum for the greater good of all. And that is the thing, as above, so below, eternal spectrum for the great of all encompasses the entire process. So the invitation is to keep looking at the process, keep inspecting it. How do I create more harmony? How do I create more balance? And how do I want to share that with the world? So I leave you all with that. I wish you many blessings, and reach out to me if you need it. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. I'm Haley Jones. Have a blessed day. Aho.